So whatever you want to talk about. Maybe introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Nick. I am one half of BooneCast.
Hi, I'm Lexi. I'm the other half.
And I guess BooneCast is like a irregularly scheduled broadcast, I guess. We aim to keep kind of like an archive of what's going on with the bands and artists we interview.
Well, cool. Hey guys, hey Booners, welcome to BoonePod episode I don't know yet, but yeah, hey, thanks for coming on the podcast, guys.
Seriously,
BooneCast.
thanks for inviting us.
I do want to say one thing. When I first started this podcast out, I got the first episode out, and then I was just searching around on Instagram to find people to like interview, get people to find on the podcast, and I saw your guys' podcast called BooneCast. I'm like, no. Oh my God!
Yeah,
people are gonna think I'm copying you.
We jumped on it pretty early. We're pretty proud of that for sure.
When did you guys start?
I think the 1 year anniversary is it the 5th of November or something? It's coming up here in a
really
week
not
or
that
two.
long.
Just like a year, yeah.
And then I know you guys took like a extended, kind of like an extended break
Yeah,
for
still,
like health reasons or whatever.
Unofficially on that.
Unofficially on hiatus.
Yeah, currently.
Officially, unofficially
you
on
got
hiatus.
things in the works, but
Okay.
man, it's taken me a minute.
So one thing I wanted to ask you guys is I know when you guys do interviews, they're all usually pretty quick, rapid fire interviews because none of your interviews are like that super long. They're kind of like bite sized. Did you guys have any reason for wanting to do quick bite sized stuff, or did you just not want to have to deal with doing longer long form content?
I mean,
Go.
it's convenient, where if we're going to the show, we can sneak them in between transitions or before the show or after. So it's like it's really easy to get everybody in one place. So it's like if we've only got 10 minutes, we can make it work with, what we got.
I will say that's really cool that you guys. I want to say like a few days ago when we were kind of like figuring out when we were going to record this thing. I did kind of like binge watch all of your stuff really quick.
Really?
Yeah. So I was watching it and I'm like, it's really cool how you guys can just like walk in, talk to somebody for like 5 minutes, and then just like get all you need and then walk out of there.
I think keeping it shorter kind of keeps people more engaged too. Looking at like the watch stats and stuff, people tend to watch the shorter ones in full. Like I think the Caffeine Daydream interview we did, that was like 18 minutes long or something. At the time, it was the longest one we did. And it's like, people are watching for the first like maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and then it kind of dwindles down super heavily. So I think it just keeps people more engaged.
I will say it's probably also like, and I don't mean this in a bad way, it's also probably easier to do that. Like if you're interviewing,
100%.
a band, you go in there after that, like maybe they stop playing or something. Like, hey, do you have a question? Do you have like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than like the stuff I do on here, because I don't know about you guys, if you guys know this or not. The bands in Boone, they're rascally. They're hard.
Yeah.
They're hard to get a hold of.
Oh yeah.
They're so hard to get a hold of. Like there's like 5 different bands I'm like trying to get on the podcast, and they're all like, yeah, we have like 15,000 different schedules, and like finding times to actually like interview them takes forever.
Oh yeah, working with anybody in a band, for BooneCast or not, has been some of the hardest work I've ever done, I think.
Yeah, because I can imagine it's just, I don't know, it's pretty hard to do.
Everyone's in 3 different bands. Everyone's got a job, 4 different things to do outside of their job.
I will say though, I think the only problem with a lot of bands in Boone is that they just don't check their Instagram DMs. There's like 15 bands out, and they're like, "Hey, do you guys want to be on the podcast?" And then they're like, they just never check it. They just never check their podcast or like a podcast, but they never check their anything ever.
We've got that a couple times. I can't. Well, obviously, I'm not going to say any names. Just a few times.
Go ahead, right in the mic. Just go ahead and enter. Just
a couple times. That doesn't happen too often, but bands don't have their DMs open or something, so we can't contact them. That kind of stuff never really goes through though. Eventually, and stuff like that. Hey, hey, where are you guys? Are you not coming to the show today? And then no response. So,
yeah.
But it hasn't caused any major issues or anything at all. It's just a little bit of an inconvenience.
Yeah. I mean, I've never gotten straight up mad at any of the people I've ever asked. Because I completely understand that they're really busy. Because, I mean, I was messaging someone else, and they got back to me after a week. They're like, oh, sorry, we were just very busy. I'm like, no, guys, I just had like 3 midterms. I completely understand.
It's been a busy past couple of weeks, for sure.
Speaking of midterms, I guess I never asked you guys, or I don't know if you guys have ever disclosed this on the podcast. What are you guys' majors?
Go ahead. I got a big can of worms.
I am a chemistry major with a concentration in forensic sciences.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So
Are you about to tell me how you changed your major 15 times?
Yeah, pretty much. So initially I came here shooting to audition and get into the music industry studies program, recording and production specifically. And then I did make the audition the first year. And then since guitar is such a competitive instrument and such a competitive major, I had to wait a full year again to audition again. And I didn't make it the second time, right? What a bummer. So I'm kind of just in a gray area right now, I guess, figuring out what I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really in the same boat as you, but I guess still I'm technically computer science, but I'm trying to switch to CIS, and it's because CIS is technically a business degree. So you have to take like 15 classes in the College of Business, and then they're like, okay, now you can switch your major.
Yeah.
So it's like, thanks for keeping me on the hook for like 7 months, guys.
Oh yeah, seriously. Oh, you're put on a waiting list. We'll tell you if you made it or not in a few months.
And then it's like, oh, you want to do cybersecurity? Okay, well, you have to take 5 accounting classes.
Yeah.
It's like, I hope you like microeconomics because you're going to love it.
Oh, boy.
And then, you do all that, and then they're like, okay, maybe, I guess you can actually start doing what you want to do for your major. So one thing I did want to ask you guys is, what made you want to start doing a podcast? Is it just you just like talking to local bands or whatever?
I would label it more as a broadcast. I don't think it's maybe as long or as in-depth as a podcast would be, or as formal either. We kind of it was a super spur of the moment thing. I mean, I can't even remember. I couldn't even tell you like how or why we did.
It was in like the span of like a night. We had the Instagram made and stuff, and then we were like, all right, how are we going to do this? And we got on Amazon. We bought the cheapest things besides like the microphone, and we just we like winged it over the span of like a couple of days. And then we, did that first show on King Street.
I mean, it seems to be working really well for you guys.
It's pretty.
Because I really like the ideas of you guys just running up to people like, hey.
Yeah, I like that. You see that on TikTok all the time now. That kind of we know like, what are you listening to? Kind of that kind of genre of videos now. And I guess it's kind of like that. I don't know. It just kind of keeps it short, sweet, and to the point, to where it's not crazy. People can enjoy it. It's a little funny. It's gonna be super serious. But after that first little interview we did on King Street, that was kind of like a test run, I guess. And it went pretty well. I mean, I think it's like our best performing video so far, actually. And then right after that, our big milestone was the first like bands interview. We did Split Fest for Split Rail, the student-run record label here. And that was a big thing. That was a really, really fun episode to do. We made some really good friends through the bands that we interviewed and stuff. It was super fun. And it kind of just, we find a show, and then hey, you guys want to get interviewed or whatever? And then it's been that easy.
See, because the whole reason why I've done this podcast, because, I was never really big into because I'm a pretty new student, right? I started in January, and now here I am on my second semester already changing my major.
Yeah.
But I was never really big into the music scene until I went to a show at Legends sometime in September, where I saw Feldspar and Sloth. I saw those guys. I'm like, I kind of want to get more into the music scene. The more I got into it, I'm like, these people just stop making music and disappear. So that's I'm like, I need to talk to these people.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Disappear.
Like a lot of kind of bands crop up out of nowhere, and then they're gone out of nowhere too. So I think it's nice to kind of have this little piece of time preserved somewhere, even if it's just a quick 5 minutes. You get the personality of the band, you hear what they're about and what they do and all that. And I think that's kind of like why I do it, why I like doing it.
Because a lot of these bands, they're a college band, so usually they'll make music until they graduate, and then like maybe 1% of the time they'll keep making music. But a lot of them, like 99% of the time, they just disappear. And there's so many of them too.
Yeah.
Because when I started off looking for people for this podcast, I'm like, maybe there's gonna be like 6 bands, right? And then you go on Instagram and you start looking up who these bands follow. It's like a rabbit hole. It's like a spider web. Like, here's 15,000 bands. Like, some of them will have 20 followers. Some of them will have like 5,000 followers. It's like, and then somehow mysteriously none of them check their DMs. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Too famous for us.
They're too famous. They're too famous for any Boone, anything.
Seriously.
They'll play at one show, and they're like, "All right, guys,
yeah,
we've got one EP on SoundCloud. Sorry, we're done.
Best show ever, best music they ever put out, and just like that."
I will say though, all of your short form content definitely seems to like adhere like more to interviewing these people than like say my show does. Because I know like you guys and American Dingo, both pretty short, like maybe 10, 15-minute episodes where you just get in, ask these band a few questions, crack a few jokes, and you're out of there.
Yeah.
And people love watching it. Like, have you guys ever checked out American Dingo?
Yeah, we've been in touch with American Dingo.
Their shit is so
They're pretty
fucking
they're
funny.
pretty I like them. They're pretty funny. And I think they go for a more comedic aspect. And then we try to shoot for a little more informational, I guess. Because
Two sides of the same coin.
they're pretty off the rail.
Yeah.
In like the best way possible.
Yeah.
They're pretty off the rail.
Because I know when I try and get people on the podcast, I do want to have like a very, not like super serious
Super
conversation.
rigorous, yeah.
But like I want to have an interview. But then
You
I
wanna
got
hear.
but then I got them on the podcast last episode. It went off the rails. I don't know if you guys listened to that one, but
Just a little bit.
that one went off the rails. But we were both just sitting here cracking jokes. I was crying, laughing at how hard they were making me laugh so fucking hard. But no, I totally understand you guys wanted to have more of like a serious, informational kind of show.
I guess I use the word archive a lot in reference to BooneCast. I would say it's like, what do you think? What do you feel about that?
I mean, yeah, like, yeah.
Yeah, and I like to keep it because Professor Andy Page, or is he professor?
Yeah.
Andy Page, in School of Music, we took his heavy metal culture class, and at some point he talked about how, I think in like the 90s, there was a huge punk scene, huge music scene here in Boone. I mean, it never really got the attention it deserved or the recognition, and you can't find any information about it because no one took any information down. And I think it'd be a crime to let this piece of history that we're living in right now go to waste. You know, everyone forget about it because
It's really cool.
We've had so much fun. We've made, talked to so many cool people, made some awesome friends, talked to so many cool bands and stuff. It's been insane.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why I like doing this podcast so much because it's such a cool like music culture up here where so many people are doing their own, like 15,000 people are doing their own thing, and then it would, like you said, it'd be a shame if any of this stuff, like nobody just ever recorded it, nobody wrote any of it down, nobody posted any of it anywhere.
Lost history.
Which is probably why, like 90% of the reason why I did this. Why I started it. Because, I wanted to start a podcast for a long time, but I was really worried. Just, look, here's another white guy making a podcast. So I'm like, I have to actually make something with substance.
Yeah.
Not just, here's a funny D's nuts joke,
Every
like,
10 minutes, yeah.
I say that in the American Dingo episode. Jesus
Oh, yeah,
Christ.
we know.
Yeah. I think it took 18 seconds.
Yeah. Well, because I asked them, because we were starting the episode, and I was like, all right. So before we started recording, I was like, all right, I guess just, I don't know how to start this off, so just, introduce yourself. And they grabbed the mic and went, hey guys, I'm fucking American Dingo. And I was like, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one.
Definitely a character.
Because I know the guy I had for the first interview episode, Joseph, that was more like a serious episode. We were actually just sitting down talking about music because I've known Joseph for a pretty long time now, but I don't know if every episode's gonna be like that kind of comedy episode.
It's kind of hard to figure out what you're searching for too. I guess we really don't have an idea of the exact kind of content we want to make. We've been pretty cut and dry with it, I think. I got questions on my phone and then I ask them and then we go from there.
So you guys are already doing better than me. I don't even have questions. Every time I have a guest on, I'm like, all right, I'm going to write down questions that I want to ask them, and then I always forget.
Write them 30 minutes before, 10 minutes before.
That's what I did with the Navum episode. 100%. I wrote those questions down like 10 minutes before we started recording.
Sometimes I like to dive a little bit Nardwar-esque, of course, to find some really good.
So your mother's maiden name is Johnny. How the fuck did you know that?
Yeah, I think in our interview with Eric, he said like, well, I said so I couldn't tell you what they are right now, but I wrote some pretty deep questions about like some really random stuff. It's like, how do you know this? Like Nardwar? Oh, that was awesome.
So your dog's birthday is on January 13th.
Yeah. Here's a gift for your dog. It's his birthday today, right?
Here's a bone for your dog, and they're like, how did you know I have a dog?
Yeah.
Dude, I would love in any way if I could ever. That's like a dream guest for me.
Oh, yeah?
Nardwar, it would never happen.
The blueprint. Seriously.
Honestly, like, Nardwuar is like 90% of the reason why I like doing this shit.
It's a big thing
I
for a
love
lot of
Nardwuar.
people.
Because he's unhinged in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, it's such it really catches your attention. It's such a unique personality.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely some inspiration for us, for sure. You know, kind of the short form. Yeah, sometimes you got longer ones, sometimes you got short ones. You know, but there's always a little bit of comedy in there, so it's always good.
I mean, yeah, like with I know I keep talking about it, I'm sorry. But like the American Dingo episode, we were dead on about to get to an hour. And then I looked at the clock and I was like, this is probably going to go for a little while longer. So we just kept talking.
Yeah.
And I think we stopped talking literally when we ran out of time.
Nice.
As soon as it hit like 8 o'clock, we're like, all right, we're done. We can't record anymore. But I think it ended out good. I guess they're going to have me on. I'm kind of scared to be on American Dingo.
We've seen a couple of those. The Felspar one is
terrified.
Off the walls.
I'm terrified they're just going to be like, here's a jar of human blood. Thanks. I can't wait.
That sounds right up their alley for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. So one thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, how do you so when you guys have stuff on your broadcast, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I had the same problem with a bunch of other people. I'm like, I don't know what to call the thing you make. But so when you guys, how did you guys decide who you wanted to get on the podcast? Was it just like, oh, this person's pretty close, maybe we can go ask them questions, or?
I don't know. How do we do that?
We met people after we interviewed them, so we didn't like really have any experience with them beforehand. Like, we might have seen, like, you know, members of Felspar, like, at a show or something before.
See some bands live.
But we really just kind of use, like, the shows as a rubric. It's like, okay, so here's the next 4 people we could get who we have not talked to yet. And almost always it works out the best like that, just so we don't have to, like, really seek out special people for shows. But,
yeah, because that has caused us a lot of heartache, for sure, trying to seek out acts and stuff. It's just so difficult to get with certain people and work with certain people and stuff.
Some people are just way too busy. They just have a really hard schedule.
Oh yeah.
Because I've already had there was one person who I asked to be on the podcast, and I was like dead set on having them on. I'm like, this will be such a good episode. I cannot wait to have this guy on. And then it just kind of fell apart. Nothing ever came of it. I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
It's either they don't respond and they're like, yeah, we can record next week, and then they say, oh, next week. And it just keeps going forever.
Right.
I just wish I had the confidence like you guys do to be like, hey.
Oh, the confidence dwindles immediately upon walking into that building or whatever. Immediately.
Is it just you see all the people there and you're like,
because
you'll have bystanders, like look at you a little bit funny. You'll have people, like walk through and stuff. It makes it a little bit difficult.
That's why I record in this little tiny room.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's just us here. I couldn't have some random person be like, fuck yeah! And you're like, all right, calm down, bud. I'm trying to do an interview here.
I would say that I think we're definitely fans before we are anything, obviously. So it's kind of like, you get a little starstruck sometimes. You know how big or small these bands or people may be. It's still, takes a little out of you sitting there talking to them. Yeah,
I imagine it'd be pretty hard to interview people. You're like, oh, these 4 dudes are just playing on the side of the street. Let's go interview them.
Yeah.
I imagine it'd be pretty hard to do that one because you just know absolutely nothing about them whatsoever.
I mean, we don't prepare too much. We kind of just let it go, however it wants to go, usually. Always ask, what do you guys want to talk about? And then, I mean, that's really how it goes. It's all we really do. And I'd say a really big show that kind of got it started off for us before BooneCast, I guess, really gave us a good idea of what we wanted to do was Felspar's first show, actually.
Their very first show?
Their very first show, October 15th at Ransom with Caffeine Daydream and Fury and Few. And I remember it because it's like the best show I've ever been to in my entire life. It was awesome. That's where we met Felspar and Caffeine Daydream, and we eventually got through those interviews. The Fury and Few interview, we're still working towards that one. We love those guys. We've been trying to. Next time they show up in Boone, hopefully we can get a hold of them again.
It's the hardest
But that's
part.
really, we sat there and we were like, people need to know about this. Right? We want people to be able to look back and be like, this is where this band came from, because these guys are going places.
Yeah.
Oh, they are going somewhere. They are definitely leaving Boone.
It's always really cool to see those success stories of people who like started in Boone and then just rapidly, like you can just tell they're going places.
Yeah, what's that one band? Oh, you know that one band that made it out of Boone?
Oh, are you talking about Rainbow?
Something.
Rainbow Kitten Surprise?
Yes, Rainbow
Yeah.
Kids. I almost said Rainbow Sex Explosion, but it's because I had no idea about them at all until I started looking into, because I don't know, I started getting into like the music scene up here, something that I was not into at all.
Yeah, they're one of the big success stories. I think one of the biggest, actually. I don't know.
They have like 2.5 million listeners.
Oh, they made it. They made it.
I just remember the only way. So like one of the starting points that I did for trying to find people to get on the podcast was I found an article that was written last year by one of a student who was working on the Appalachian newspaper, and I was just reading through it. I'm like, wow, all of these guys are really cool. I was checking. Rainbow Kitten Surprise was the first. Obviously, they were on the first because they have like millions of listeners.
Oh yeah.
But I'm like, I want to have these guys on, and then you check all of the band's Instagram pages except for Rainbow Kitten. And they're like, yeah, last posted May 2021. I'm like, God damn it.
A lot of these people kind of just, they're here and they leave, really.
Which sucks.
And it's seriously, they just get kind of forgotten about.
Boone is such a good, like, hive of creativity. There's so many good bands up here. So many. And I know my podcast isn't built on exclusively interviewing bands. Somehow they're just the easiest people to get a hold of.
It's fairly convenient, I will say.
Yeah.
I think, obviously that's who we've had the most success with. And
they're the easiest to find.
There are a lot of bands and musicians. Every day there's a new band. Every week there's a new band or a new show.
Because I know I've like my whole podcast is like I want to interview cool people who make cool things, right? And I'm like, I've reached out to like a bunch of different artists or a bunch of different photographers. None of them have ever gotten back to me.
Really?
I don't know, maybe I'm just rude, but I don't like to think that I am. But they're definitely hard to get a hold of. But bands like
they want that exposure.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Of course,
a
everybody
lot of
wants to
people
be on the big BoonePod.
Yeah. But I mean, people have definitely mentioned that before, and because we've been asked to do interviews a few times. That doesn't happen very often. We're not that famous. We're not that popular, I guess. But every once in a while, it's like, we would really like that exposure kind of stuff. Or I got this new thing coming out. I kind of want someone to kind of advertise a little bit, not advertise, for lack of a better word.
But just somebody to get
give them a little platform to talk about what they want to do and stuff. I think that's something we would like to do. Kind of give people a platform to talk about their new things, their new bands.
That's like 99% of the reason. Everybody I asked to be on, I'm like, I just want to talk to you guys. Because anybody I asked to be on the podcast, I'm like, you guys are making really cool shit. You guys and everybody. Honestly, everybody I've had on are great people. They all make fantastic stuff.
Thank you.
And I wouldn't ask on anybody on the that was boring. Like there was some schmuck that was making like banjo guitar rock. I'm like, well, I don't know. Playing 5 minutes.
Not the most interesting.
Not the most interesting people. But I want to most of the reason why I have anybody on because I'm like I just want to talk to you guys.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I like talking. I do like talking. So it's
I
always fun to talk to new people.
I don't think you do like an interview show if you didn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a pretty big thing because I guess before BooneCast, it's something like entirely off the wall for either of us to do. I mean, we're not the most interactive bunch. I don't know if I'm speaking for everybody.
Yeah.
But it was kind of just like, let's just do this because we can. Because we kind of just wanted to do something. We liked what we saw and we wanted to get interaction. We wanted to get a part of what's going on.
That's honestly, that's like one of the coolest things I think anybody in Boone can do. It's just like, hey, here I want to be a part of this or something. Like,
and you can.
Especially, it's not like it's hard to get into.
No.
I honestly don't think you even have to make anything to get into the music industry.
Oh, not at all.
Or like, especially in Boone, you just talk to people.
Seriously.
Go up to message this random band and be like, hey, you guys are really cool. And then you just start talking, you have a conversation, whatever. Yeah. You guys just go talk to them. It's not hard. It's not like Boone's a big town.
No, not at all. I mean, it's all right here. I mean, especially with all the shows on King Street and adjacents. Makes things really easy. Feels very homey, I think, too.
It does.
You just kind of go walk to, the best show you've ever seen in your entire life. It costs you $5.
And then 5 minutes down the road, you're like, all right, I'm back home.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, yeah.
I will say, for someone who has interviewed a bunch of people in bands or people who are like adjacent to the music culture up here, I have not gone to as many shows as I would want to, mainly just because I'm lazy. That's
guess-
like my biggest problem.
I know I'm on campus right now.
Mm.
Lexi's living at. Oh, I guess I don't want to dox you.
You can disclose.
The
No, just
Highlands,
go-
University Highlands.
Her whole address.
Don't come find
289
me.
Emily Way.
Stop.
Oh shoot, what were we
Stop
talking
by
about?
start getting
I
packages.
lost train of thought. Oh, I live on campus, so it's really convenient for me to go to places. I mean, it's right there. I'm living at Mountaineer. I mean, People Street's right there. Howard Station. I go there all the time. We go there all the time. Black Cat is also right there. Ransom. Places where we've had interviews at. So it's really convenient. We haven't been to too many house venues, house shows. A little far. And
Well, house shows are a little bit harder to find, I think.
yeah, oh yeah.
House shows, I feel like you have to be
You gotta know somebody.
You have to know someone who knows somebody
Oh yeah.
to even get in or know where it is.
You gotta know somebody to get an interview, and that doesn't even work. So we haven't been to too many house shows. We're doing interviews there, and we don't really plan on it because I think it's kind of inconvenient. I guess I can't speak for Lexi, but I think it's kind of inconvenient. And I'm not a big fan of beeps personally. I don't like beeping places.
Oh, I've never.
So we don't have a vehicle right now.
I've never used Beep. How is it? I see people posting about it on Yik
Too
Yak
much.
all the time.
It's way too
Is
much.
it too much? There was a student article about that, I think. I think it was like somebody had wrote about Beep is too fucking expensive for anybody to
It
use
is.
now.
I mean,
We had a beep for one of the only hash shows we ever went to. And at 10:30, 11 o'clock, show was going to end at midnight. And we get a text that says, hey, actually, you can't drive you guys back anymore. So then we had to find a beep that was
$7 a person or something.
and there was a bunch of us and we were just like, man, this sucks.
This sucks.
Yeah, you know.
Because nobody else is going to come pick you up at, 11:30,
Yeah,
midnight.
so it's kind of like a monopoly at that point, right?
Yeah.
They can charge how much they want. I just need to get home.
That's why house shows aren't worth it.
Yeah,
Because
right.
they're just out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Seriously, oh my
And
gosh.
it's not like you could walk to them if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, it's like they're 15 miles down 321 in the middle of the woods on the Parkway. It's great. They're easy to get to.
So you park, then you gotta walk like a mile and a half, but then it's just you're right there.
And then if you see a few monsters in the woods, see Satan in there, you're all good. Just walk past. He won't hurt nobody. But I mean, that's one of the great things about Boone, though, isn't it? It's like any show you could ever want to go to in Boone, you can walk to it.
It's pretty close, yeah. Usually, most of the time.
Usually, since 99% of bands will play somewhere on King
Yeah.
Street or
From
King Street
experience-
adjacent.
From experience playing on King Street, adjacent, it's been fairly easy. It's usually you know a band that has an opening, and then you ask. But yeah, with the house shows and the beeps and stuff, I just think it's too expensive. I guess I don't really know how much an Uber is. I guess I've never really used Uber. How much is an Uber ride?
12 to $15, I guess,
And that's
depending on where you're
what
going.
for everybody or for individual? I mean,
I think it's individual.
really,
I think
if you have
that's-
2 people, would it be $12?
I've never used it, so I'm not an
Yeah.
expert
I
here.
think anytime I've taken an Uber, you can do one person orders it, and then you've got a certain amount of seats. So it's not like with beeps, like you'll see ones that are can fit 3 to 12, and it's you just lay down the back of the
Yeah,
car,
where do the
you know?
other 9 people go?
They don't count for seat belts, you know?
I've never used any ride sharing service before. I'm too scared. I'm too scared that someone will kidnap me and murder me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Or I've never even thought about doing it before because I know a few friends who do beep, and one of my friends was like, yeah, one night I made $200, but somebody puked in my passenger seat. I'm like, how much did it cost to get the puke out?
High risk, high
$50,
reward.
I guess. Beep is 99% for frat students.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh, I mean, party. Yeah, if you don't have a designated driver, kind of deal.
Are you guys in any frats or anything?
No, we are not. No
Okay.
other organizations.
Good.
I don't think we're in anything, are we? No, we're
Not that
kind
I'm aware
of
of.
boring. We
Good.
got our hands full with everything.
Because I'm trying to keep my public stance of last episode I said fuck all frats.
I can agree with
So-
that. I can agree with
Well,
that.
actually, no. The only good frat that American Dingo was telling me about was there was one Jewish frat, and they said they were actually pretty cool guys.
I mean, there's a couple good ones in the music school that we like. So we're involved with
I've never
music
heard
school a
about any
little
of the music frats.
bit. Dang, what's that one Alvin's in? I don't know.
Is it the men's fraternity?
Yeah, there's some men's frat. Alvin Carliste, he's in, I think that's how you say his last name. He is in Educated Guess, but he plays with Dylan all the time.
I think
Oh!
this is now probably one. I don't know what it's called, though.
I think, right, there's also going around Educated Guess, right?
Yeah,
So he plays with
Educated
them.
Guess is it's like the jazz God, I don't know.
Funk,
What
I think funk,
jazz,
funk relevant,
jazz.
kind of something.
Something.
They're awesome though. They're
Yeah, I
always
know.
a good time.
I was
Super noisy in like a really cool way.
Oh yeah, I was when I was researching for trying to find people to get on. I found Educated Guess. I'm like, these guys are fucking fantastic.
They're awesome.
Still
They're
waiting
awesome.
still waiting for them to get back to me. But they were really cool.
They were cool. We did an interview with them. I think the lineup has changed since then, of course, but they were a good time. They were a seriously good time. But yeah, Alvin, he's in this men's frat through the music school. I don't know what it's called though. I have no idea what it's called.
Frat names are hard to keep up with.
Seriously, right? I don't know what any of the letters mean, or how to say any of them. And then Kappa Kappa Psi, the marching frat, they're pretty cool. We were in the marching band last year, and they were a good crowd. I mean, what they stand for and what they do for the band is really nice. So there, there's a good lump.
So there are some good frats.
But like when you say frat, you think of all the party frats.
Yeah, no. When I say frat, I mean like the big fucking alpha dude, bro.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
Oh yeah.
Spiking people's drinks. Like yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah, that is a thumbs down.
It's like I live where my apartment is. I am right next to 2 frats.
That's gotta be a nightmare.
It's not that bad, but I just remember the day before school started, they threw a party until 4 in the morning.
Oh boy.
So the day before classes, I was sitting there like 3:30, being like, ugh, and they just wouldn't shut up. They weren't even playing good music either. They were playing like, what were they? They were fucking playing Black Eyed Peas or whatever. Like, this is horrible.
Like, what year is it? In the year 2022?
I just couldn't believe them for playing that awful shit. But now watch, I'll get a post on Instagram. It's like, hey, fuck BoonePod.
Yeah.
Fuck BoonePod.
These guys suck. They don't know anything about frats.
Yeah, let alone. I remember I was asking. I'm not going to say who it was, but I was asking somebody on Instagram to be on the podcast. I'm like, hey, would you guys like to be on the podcast? And they're like, yeah. What do you guys like? What's your operation here? I'm like, how many people do you really think this is?
Like,
It's just me.
Yeah.
For anybody who's wondering, it's just me. I don't know.
Operating by yourself is difficult. I will say, we haven't done anything by ourselves, but I know if I was doing this by myself, I could not do it. Obviously, I need someone to hold the camera.
Yeah.
No, I hold the camera sometimes too. That is a big thing too. If you want to continue, we'll touch on that in a second, though.
I mean, you guys can talk about whatever you want. I don't care.
Because a lot of people do think it is just me, just Nick, and that's been an issue in contacting bands and stuff. I don't know if you want to talk about that because it's more about you.
I mean, we've had people, I don't know, like on Nick's Instagram now, it says like for anything BooneCast,
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. I'm like, well,
So
let me message the right account.
I mean, thank you so much for that. Seriously though, because that's one thing that really, I mean, it's not like known, right? Like, it doesn't know that you.
It's not something that you guys actively talk about a lot.
Right,
in your episodes.
Make sure you talk to us on this account instead of one of our personal accounts because there's 2 of us. We like to both know what's going on and stuff. And singling someone out, is never all right.
Because I mean, I imagine if it's both of you two both working on this little project you guys have, I imagine it's very important for both of you to just be like, we are making this, not just one or the other.
Oh yeah, seriously.
Because I mean, I imagine that's like, it just sucks when people are like, yeah, just one person makes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like, yo, it's Nick from BooneCast.
And it's like, I'm just chilling there, and I'm like,
no one knows that Lexi is also in BooneCast, stuff like that. And I know I hold the microphone. I'm in the video most of the time. Lexi's done a fair share as well, though.
It's the whole problem of like a band, and people only know the lead singer.
Yeah,
it's like that's the problem.
I guess kind of like that, yeah.
Because I was talking about that to Joseph on a few episodes ago. I'm like, people like when people think about like Queen or something, people literally only think about Freddie Mercury.
Yeah,
when it's like a group effort. It's literally 3 other people.
I couldn't name anybody but Freddie Mercury.
Listen, me too. The only band I can think of mostly every member is like the Beatles. I can remember everybody but George. Like if somebody asks me, it's like, yeah, George doesn't exist.
Yeah, the other Beatle. But like, I don't know. And then, I don't know, how much of this do you want to talk about? Because this is also a can of worms too. There's a lot.
I don't know. Talk about it as much. Go as far as you guys want to. I don't really.
You haven't said much, Lexi.
I mean, we've had our fair share of people who just like, even after like saying like, hey, why don't you message us on the BooneCast? We'll keep this going. They'll continue to message it, or even asked to use like outside platforms that only one of us would have access to at a time.
When you could literally just,
Which makes it
Just
DM us on one.
Just message the BooneCast account.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
not
I can
even-
understand like if you want to like use a phone number or something, but no one's asked, no one's giving me the phone number. No one's asked like text or call or anything.
It's like it's not that it's just like, like singling out someone or like kind of cutting them out of the equation. It's just like, it makes it hard to stay on the same page for everything. So it's like, all right, if I'm coming back from class and we've got an interview at 5
Because we have to coordinate a schedule too. That's one thing,
So I'm able to just
on top of coordinating other people's schedules
Yeah,
with
I
our
know.
own.
Yeah.
That's like 99% of the reason why I'm doing this by myself.
I think that'd be the only benefit of working solo is I know my own schedule all of the time.
Yeah. I will say the hard thing about doing this all by myself is that I don't have anybody pushing me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I'm like, oh, I have to get this episode out by Friday.
Oh, yeah,
And
that-
it's like, all right, well, I can just do that later. And it's like, no.
Yeah. Oh,
it's like, no, get off your ass.
I
Edit this episode.
I got time to edit this. I don't need to release it until this date.
Well, it's because I do. I'm gonna say like 99% of the reason why this podcast exists is because all of the school computers have access to the entire Adobe suite.
Yeah, that is
Because
true.
I'm like, I'm not fucking paying Adobe any of my money. So like 99% of the reason is that every computer on campus has like Premiere, Audition, Illustrator, Photoshop.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I will say it has been kind of fun because back in like high school, I was doing a lot of digital media. I was basically what I was planning on doing is I was planning on doing digital media, learning the entire Adobe suite.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stopped doing that because I'm like, I want to program. And then recently I'm like, I don't want to fucking program. So doing this podcast and relearning how to like just teaching myself how to use these programs has actually been pretty fun. Because it's like, yeah, I could use DaVinci, but DaVinci sounds like it's awful.
Don't use DaVinci. It is awful. It is so awful. I've been having the worst time just trying to render that video. Not even like edit or anything. I can
Just
edit,
get it rendered.
just to like have the video file. That's all I need right now, and I just cannot get it.
It's part of the reason why this podcast doesn't have a video element to it. Because I'm like, I don't want to fucking.
It adds an
I'm like, I don't want to
extra
deal with
layer
video.
You're saying I have to match the audio between the video and the recorder.
I'm not even kidding. That is the reason why. I'm like, I don't want to have to sync the audio. I don't want to do it.
It's a lot. It's not a lot,
It
but when
sucks
you don't
and
know
I'm lazy.
When you really don't know what you're doing, it's a lot.
I mean, it's also part of the reason why on the BoonePod Instagram account, I don't shy away from anybody like finding my own personal. I just don't want to advertise it. Because I want BoonePod to be its own separate thing. I also kind of like people not knowing what I look like too.
Yeah, I gotcha. But I guess it's kind of unavoidable if we're doing a video, right?
It is kind of unavoidable. It's not like my public Instagram is like hidden or private.
Yeah, right.
Anybody can go look at the.
If they really
shit I
wanted to,
post.
seriously.
If they really wanted to know what I look, true BoonePod fans would go find my personal.
All the
Instagram.
hardcore BoonePod fans know
all
what the
three
host
of
looks
them.
like.
But so have you guys ever thought about? I mean, I know you guys said you were kind of on hiatus. Is there any stuff you have in like the works or anything, or any stuff you've just kind of been sitting on yet, but it's not out yet?
Yeah, exactly. That the video we've been trying to render for so long. I don't know. Do we want to say who is in the video?
Yeah.
I don't know. When is this coming out?
Let's see. Today's Thursday.
Yeah.
If I am a good person and I get it edited tonight, it should be out tomorrow at noon.
Really?
Yeah, because my release schedule is Monday and Friday at noon. Trying to at least have 2 a week.
We have had this video that has supposed to have been out since Monday, really, but we haven't really advertised it because we're still on hiatus. I mean, because BooneCast kind of puts a nail in the schedule. It's hard to get work around it, especially because I'm not working, but Lexi's working. And we've got our other responsibilities, of course, outside of, and then getting transportation to events on certain days is hard. So we've kind of just been focusing on school. Because obviously school comes first. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to do BooneCast. As much as I would want to just be here to do BooneCast, we can't do that.
You have school and it's homework.
I have to do school, right?
Yeah, the only times I ever record are like, all right, I've done every single assignment I have to do for the entire week. I am done. I have nothing else to do. So that's when I record.
Yeah. So we're really not trying to sacrifice anything for BooneCast. We wanted to, work alongside with what we're already doing.
It's like just a
hobby, right?
Yeah,
It's seriously just a hobby. That's all we do because it's fun. I mean, that's at the end of the day. I know I do it because it's fun. I don't know why Lexi does it. I don't know if you have the same ideas.
I do it because it's fun. It's cool to talk to those people. It's cool to like ask them fun questions and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, and we've had some awesome people. Seriously, all the guys at Felspar, in particular, they really stand out for both of us. I mean, they've been super nice all the time. Anytime we've ever talked to them, in some hard times for us, they've been like the most help.
They've just been cool dudes.
Seriously, like, oh my gosh, they are cool dudes. They're the coolest dudes we've ever met, I think.
The only problem I have with Felspar is that when I went to go see their show, they didn't have any more merch for me to buy. It's my only problem. Because I got out of the show, I'm like, I want a fucking Felspar t-shirt, and they didn't have any.
I have, as far as I know, I have two of the two designs they put out,
Exclusive
right?
owner
I got,
of the Felspar.
yeah, I just picked
Felspar
up the
t-shirts.
limited edition Live, Laugh, Leave in a Body Bag shirt that they had with their run with Rakefire a few weekends ago. But yeah, no, we love those guys so much.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to get them on the podcast.
Yeah, and when
I'm trying my hardest.
when they get big, they better not forget about BooneCast.
Yeah, don't forget about BooneCast.
When they're at Blue Ridge Rock Fest or whatever.
When you're playing at like a stadium with 50,000 people in Charlotte,
That's what
don't forget
think in the back of
BooneCast.
your head,
think about those two.
No,
people
but
at
really, they've done
BooneCast.
a lot for us. In their interview, of course, they've got a fairly large platform themselves, so their promotion helps us a little bit.
I mean, it seems like, it seems like 99, like every band I've ever seen in Boone, they're like actually good people.
Oh yeah,
I don't think there's any bands in Boone that people are like, I fucking hate those guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple that get thrown around and disappear, obviously. But
They go into hiding.
yeah, but most of the people that we have interviewed have all been awesome people that we love and we still talk to. We go to their shows, of course. But there's always a rotten apple. I mean, there's always a rotten apple in every bunch, of course. That's just unavoidable, unfortunately. But it is what it is.
Oh God, I was going to talk about something and I completely forgot. This is like the number one thing you're not supposed to do on podcast. Because when you're doing a show like this, you're not supposed to. There's not supposed to be any dead air.
You want to keep it going. That's a hard thing, is keeping it going sometimes.
It's really hard to do when I'm stupid and I didn't write any questions I wanted to talk about.
Oh my God, tell me about it. Tell me about it. And I think I'll write down 3 questions and then it's a 10-minute interview. I mean, what am I talking about for the next 7 minutes?
Yeah, it's really hard to do that because like all of my episodes, I'm like, I want to get an hour, but then it's like, what the fuck do you talk about for an hour?
Yeah, I think all 3 of us are used to someone else carrying the conversation.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a weird gray area right now.
I will say that was, it is really cool when I have people on and they're just like, because all of the people I have on, they're always like, they're always working on 15,000 million projects, and I'm just like,
got
tell me
going
more,
on.
please.
Yeah.
I will say that's the worst part.
I wish we
doing
were
it.
doing more, but
I mean, it sounds like you guys have some cool stuff coming out.
yeah, so it's something a little
Whenever
different.
Da Vinci starts working.
Never. I hope soon. I've been trying.
Does it
really
just
hard.
not render, or does it just crash?
So I had the video all done. I rendered it completely, and then I rewatched it, and I fucked up like half of it. Somehow, somewhere I messed up. There's like a 5-minute black screen, no audio, and then it cuts off in a weird spot. So I was like, I cannot. This is stupid. I cannot post this. I can't fix this in its current state.
So you're just having to re-edit.
So I
the whole
re-edited it
video.
completely, and then I've been trying to render. I've been trying. No, usually I don't know what the resolution we record with. What is it? Do you know the resolution? It's HD. I think it's probably.
Is it some weird resolution or something?
No, it's like
it's like
1280 by 720 or something.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
I thought you were about to tell me it's like 1350 by 750.
It's 1600 by 900.
It's like, what the
some
fuck?
odd, yeah. It was a virtual interview because time constraints, schedule constraints and stuff. So it was a virtual interview, which is a new thing for us. I'm not too sure how I like the style, but it was definitely good. It was definitely a good interview.
I imagine virtual interviews are a lot harder to do.
They're different. It's different content, and it's I don't know if it's something that I want BooneCast to continue to make is on the virtual, because I feel like you get a better real view of how people feel and act.
When you're right in front of them.
Right, yeah.
That's like 90...
When we're sitting, screen to screen, you have time to think about what you want to say.
It's like when you're actually talking to a person that's 5 inches from you, you're like, I actually have to talk.
There's
and
a
say
real
something.
human connection there.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's like 90%.
And of course, there's nothing wrong with virtual interviews. I still think they're fine. I just don't know if it's the direction I want.
It's just not yours. It's just not the way you want.
I don't know.
Your guys' show to be.
I don't know. How do you feel about that? Because you and I haven't talked about that too much.
I mean, I think virtual interviews can be a good thing. It would allow us to access some bands we might not be able to, get up to Boone, because obviously, there's got to be an incentive for them,
Mm.
not just getting
It's like-
interviewed by
Yeah,
these
yeah.
professional
Yeah,
guys.
it's like it'd be kind of hard to get I can't think of a name, but like some band from like Asheville or something to come
Something
to Boone.
crazy, right?
It's like if they're not playing a show, that'd be kind of hard to get them up
Yeah.
there or something.
And we were because this band that is on the video coming out soon, they did have a show and then illness struck, so we couldn't make it, which really was a big bummer. But I really don't know if we could have got in anyways because it was at a 21 plus, it was at a bar or whatever, and we were not 21, and that has been a little bit of an issue in the past. We've had who were we trying to? It ended up not working out regardless, but who hit us up, man? Was it? You might have been Carver Commodore or something. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I sadly have not.
I couldn't tell you where they're from. I mean, we didn't talk
But I mean,
too
if you
much.
guys are interviewing, they're probably cool.
We did not interview. We were going to. They reached out to us because they were having a little tour going down the coast or something, and they were stopping in Boone with some other bands that we knew here. But then, after Lexi had to withdraw, we just kind of it didn't work out. But they were also it was at Boone Saloon or something. And I've heard stories about how strict they are with that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Regardless of, obviously I'm not going to go there and buy a drink, right? But they don't know that. Or,
Yeah.
they, as much as I will say that, they're not going to listen to me because that's what people go there to do, is to buy a drink.
Or wait. Silly juice.
Silly juice.
I think that's what American Dingo called it.
Yeah. So,
They were talking about like, yeah, I got drunk and they're like, I drank some silly juice.
yeah,
or
so
something like
we're not
that.
allowed to purchase silly juice or be in establishments that sell it primarily. So that has been a little issue trying to.
Because I imagine a million people are like, yeah, dude, I just want to be in there. I don't
Yeah,
want to
I'm
buy a
just here for the
drink.
music. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure, pal.
Right.
Sure.
As much, maybe get like a little press pass or something.
Actually, maybe you could
Yeah, we've touched on that before.
print a
but-
little.
Just
fake
little
print.
cool lanyards,
Just-
something like to wear at the games or whatever, that kind of stuff.
I honestly think
Something.
if you printed some fake press pass, you could probably get in.
Maybe,
into like
yeah.
into like a press booth or something at an
Seriously.
app game. You 100% could.
Yeah, we're here to interview the football team after the game.
Let me interview the whole football team.
That would be the worst interview I think we could ever do. I don't think I would ever interview the whole football.
I don't think I could ever do that interview.
However many people with one microphone and camera.
Yeah, I'll just in this little room right here. I'll get the entire football
Yeah,
team.
stack them on top 3 high. We could probably fit half of them in here.
Maybe just get like, I don't know.
Well,
maybe get like the head
Let's
coach.
see, one at a time for 30 seconds so you can keep it under an hour.
Just what's your name? What position do you play? See ya. Just that's it. That's the
Yeah.
whole interview, and the episode's like an hour and a half long. Just that's the whole episode.
Let me turn it on you for a second. What is your dream interview? Who's your dream podcast guest right now? However feasible or unfeasible it may be.
I'll do two different ones. So for the completely unfeasible, it's probably never going to happen. One of my friends gave me a suggestion. He's like, you should get Luke Combs on.
Yeah.
Because he's
That
like,
would be crazy.
Because he's
That
like,
would be
he
nuts.
went to Boone. He went to App State. He does shows here
People here
pretty often.
love him.
And I'm like, that would be my dream guest. Just get Luke Combs on.
He's got a cult following here for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like
rightfully so, of course.
I've never listened to a single one of his songs ever.
It's country music.
But-
It's good country music.
Okay, it's okay.
Good country music. Good
So it's
yeah.
good country music.
I say it's pretty good. I mean, depending on how you look at country music, I know
I-
everyone has their disparities. With
I know
it.
a lot of people say, like, I like everything but country. You probably haven't listened to the right country songs.
Yeah.
It's like
there's definitely some good country out there for sure.
the way I describe it is that I like country music that was made. Okay, maybe it's a little weird. Pre 9/11.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
That's-
after
that's-
9/11, country music was I fucking
America
love
all the way. I love the country so much. Have you noticed that? Seriously,
Yeah,
that's definitely been a
country
big
music.
turn.
Country music got worse after 9/11.
That is 100%.
So if you hate country music, blame Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, he's the root of all evil. Seriously, ended country music as a whole. But yeah, no, Luke Combs got some good tunes for
Yeah.
sure. I couldn't name any, but from what I've heard of the game,
He's a great guy. I literally know nothing about him.
Yeah.
But I would love to have him
from what
on.
I have seen,
Well, because the only reason I just thought about that, because you said bringing in the entire football team in this room, I'm like, if I got Luke Combs on, he's got like 15 of his little entourage. in
seriously,
here.
oh, they would
But
have to be in here.
I would love to have him on. But then for like a more feasible, is that the right word? Feasible?
Feasible?
I'm sorry, I'm stupid. But I don't. more feasible. It's like anybody that
like someone local like this.
Yeah. Like
You know,
anybody
within the state at
anybody
least.
that I think is feasible.
Yeah.
Anybody
I would contact them.
Yeah, I've already messaged them on Instagram. So it's like,
Yeah.
but totally unfeasible. Yeah, Luke Combs.
I don't know.
What about you guys?
You go.
Who
you
is-
go first because I still need to think about it. You had to pick someone
Like someone that is completely
so out of the world.
Like you could like it is such a small percentage that you think you could get them on.
I mean,
I don't know, because it would be hard just to kind of like do that. I guess with the whole BooneCast, it's in the name. You kind of want to keep it
Like it's
central.
about people from Boone.
Yeah, right, or close around it. And I guess we haven't really thought about expanding past that too much. Like, what if BooneCast grows beyond Boone? Very unlikely, but
What would you call it then?
I
Cast?
think we would just cast.
Just cast.
we have talked about like going to Wilmington maybe and covering some
Yeah.
shows.
'Cause
We're
that's
both from Wilmington.
more our neck of the
I've heard
woods.
some really cool stuff about bands in
Oh,
Boone.
they
Yeah,
are
I
going
mean,
crazy
we've
right now
got-
too, just like we are up here.
Yeah, we've got some friends that we know in the bands up there. I know some people who work with the bands really
We did a
well.
Wilmington episode when they came up here.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
Wilmington takeover was a really
That was
good
super
one.
fun. Love all those guys. But man, I don't know. Completely unfeasible.
Just completely unreasonable. Like like Joe Biden.
Nickelback.
Like
I would get Nickelback, on
Oh,
BooneCast.
okay.
Nickelback
All right.
is good.
Nickelback.
When Nickelback plays their stadium show at Kid Brewer, we will be there.
Is that answer for both of you?
Probably not. But
I would like to interview Limp Bizkit.
Okay.
So.
That's pretty
Ooh,
cool.
I would.
I'm still waiting for the full Felspar cover.
I would.
Mm.
I've heard blips and I'm waiting. I have not forgotten.
Are they covering?
They
there was
played
like
it.
a 30-second blip of break
Oh.
stuff.
See, that's the
They
worst
played
thing
it
about
at
local
At
bands.
a
is that-
Wilmington show, I think they played it too. Like those places where we couldn't be. Maybe once or twice at a show up here, but I don't know if we've ever caught them
That's
live.
the worst thing about these bands up here is they'll have really cool like songs, and there's like, yeah, it's in the fucking archives. We'll,
Yeah.
we'll upload it when we die,
Yeah, it's on this Bandcamp that you can only access when you find the URL in the cabin we hid in the woods.
and then you have to put $5 into a piggy bank.
Yeah.
You have to put $5 into a piggy bank in the dining hall. Wait 3 days, come back, put in $5 more,
and
and
the
then
bud
maybe.
releases from underneath that links you the.
And then there's a secret hidden door that opens up,
Yeah,
and
and
then
then-
you can listen to a 10-second clip.
No, but Bandcamp, I think I like Bandcamp a lot, and I've used Bandcamp before, but I do wish a lot more bands would record more music.
Hmm.
And I know I got some friends in the music industry studies program, of course. A lot of them are in the bands, and I was, I dabbled in that a little bit myself. And they've offered, to record for this band that I'm in before. Julian, really cool guy. Hope you watch this, Julian. We love you. BooneCast loves you. BooneCast loves Julian.
By the way, I
Yeah.
want to make this a segment on the podcast now because American Dingo did it. So I'm like, this is cool. I want to have this on. There's going to be a 5-minute segment where you can just shout out whoever you want.
Oh, awesome.
Because
We'll do that.
I asked American Dingo right before they got off. I'm like, do you want to shout anybody
That's
out?
always the last
and
question.
he literally just talked. Well, I guess they literally just talked for like 2 minutes of shouting people out. And I'm like, this is awesome. I love it so
Dude,
much.
there are so many people we can give thanks to.
Oh yeah.
But maybe not yet because I don't think we're. I mean, I don't know how much longer do you guys think you want to record for?
Oh, man,
I
I
mean,
mean,
unless I can record
we
for
got the-
however long as you
We
want.
got the room for another 50 minutes. I'm
Yeah.
fine doing whatever.
Because I'm like the. Because I'm like
Okay,
the only
okay.
reason why I stopped recording with American Dingo is because we ran out
We
of time.
had to, yeah.
But like an hour is like the minimum that I want to do. So
For
however
sure.
long you guys
No,
want to
we
talk
are-
for.
We are more than fine. But yeah, Julian, awesome guy. I've recorded with him in the past for previous projects that he's done. But I think a lot more bands should get recording more music. I mean, there's so many bands that have played countless shows so far. Nothing on Spotify or on a more popular streaming service. Because I know Bandcamp is not popular.
Yeah, I know because I never.
Personally, I don't like the mobile interface that much.
Is it bad? I've never used.
It's
it.
not bad. It's just it's not as accessible, I think, as like Spotify or Apple Music.
What you may have to do to get these bands to record is you may have to like touch the monkey paw. It's like all of these bands will put out all of their songs, but it's only on Tidal.
Yeah,
It's like fuck Tidal. Anybody who uses Tidal is pretentious.
100%.
Because I have one friend that's like really big into like he's a big
They
audiophile.
pay
like
the most to per streams, but it's like,
and it's like he's a big audiophile and he's got really nice like $300 Sennheisers.
you got the giant Audio Technica turntable, all
Oh,
that,
yeah.
$1,000 on a.
And then he's like, yeah, use Tidal. It's like $15 a month. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Just use Spotify like
Seriously,
a normal person.
Got my student discount.
Oh my god.
It's like $5
You can't
$5
get
a
better than
month.
that.
Seriously.
But it's like, I don't know. Spotify is the only music streaming service where if you tell me
Yeah.
you use it, I will respect you.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a snob. If anybody tells me they're on Apple Music, I'm like, you're on the line.
I'm a convert. I converted from Apple Music to Spotify.
Okay, I was gonna say you converted from Spotify to
no,
Apple Music.
no. Lexi got me on the train for
I
that.
did.
Good. You're a good person.
Thank
I want you to know
you.
that you're a good person.
Yeah, I
you're
tried my
doing
best.
a saint's work
I'm
here.
really-
My parents were
really
paying
the
for it. It was
backbone
before I had
here.
money. It was a different time. It was a different time for me.
I just remember my roommate right before the semester started. We were basically I just had because I moved up here fully in August because I was going back and forth from because I'm from Lenore, so
yeah.
so literally just right down the
And
mountain.
my family says it all the time when
Oh,
we
okay.
drive up.
Well, I hate Lenore. So
Yeah,
anyway,
it's not awesome, but
it's not awesome.
It's a small world.
But that's where I'm from. So last semester I was driving up back and forth, and then when I moved up this semester, I just quit my job. So I had like I nearly had like a month period of like I have nothing to do. I just literally just hung out and played video games for like a month.
yeah.
That's all I did.
Oh, tell me.
But I kept when I moved in with my roommate, I'm like, what? Because we would get in the car to go get like lunch or something. I'm like, you have Apple Music? Ew. And I would tell him every time. I'd be like, that's gross. And then eventually, like a week after school started, he's like, all right, I'm going to move all my stuff over to Spotify. And he sat there for like 3 days,
Really?
moving all of his like 4,000 songs from Spotify from Apple Music to Spotify.
That was ours. Or reburning CDs that don't have, bands that don't have their music on Spotify or whatever. That was the biggest heartache. But other than that, it's been, smooth sailing.
Mhm.
Spotify, they do their recap at the end of the year way better than Apple Music.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's one
It's
of the
always
fun
the
things.
end of the year for me. The end of the year recap on Spotify. It's always embarrassing.
It's my favorite time of the year.
It's like every December. I'm like I can't wait for it.
You-
But then I actually look at the stats. I'm like this is so embarrassing.
You don't really know someone until you see the Spotify Wrapped. I stand by that. I think I live by that.
I need to start asking people for that on like Tinder or
Yeah.
something. Like, what's your Spotify Wrapped?
This question, yeah. When they come out at the end of the year, make sure to feature it on the podcast. Let's go through your Spotify rap really quick.
You're like,
oh my
no, no,
gosh,
no, no.
oh no.
It's like your number one was
All right,
lo-fi
I think we gotta
hip-hop
cut this
girl.
one short.
Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry, gotta cut this short.
Running out of time.
Running out of time, guys. But yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
No, but I did one thing. One thing I wanted to ask you guys was, do you have any interviews that you guys have just completely scrapped? Like you've
Yeah.
recorded it and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, we can't
We-
release this.
Oh yeah.
We've one interview that I'll touch on. I'm not going to name any names or specifics, but it was just bad.
Hmm.
They were just
Were they just like rude or mean?
yeah.
Yes.
They just weren't respecting like what we were wanting
Hmm.
to do or the circumstances. Like anything I was doing with the camera was wrong, and let's
Hmm.
do it this way instead. And it's like
They were telling you guys how to run
Yeah,
your
you
show.
know?
Yeah, and that's kind of what we want to do, but not to that extent. It was kind of like they're like walking over us, and it was a lot of let's retake that so we can talk more about this advertising. We can advertise more, so we can
Yeah.
fit this in about what we're doing, so I can advertise it.
Put in this QR code that links to our Spotify.
Seriously, like yeah.
actually, can you wear this shirt for the interview?
Yeah, but that was, in the footage turned out like horrible anyways. So it would have sucked.
Is that just one time, or has this happened like multiple
This
times?
is the
where you've
only-
had to scrap
This
it?
is the only interview we've scrapped. I don't think we've scrapped any other ones.
I think we've managed to salvage them. I know that the few interviews that I did
Maybe
were,
maybe another one that I can't think of. Maybe we had to do like a retake or something.
Yeah.
Mm. But that's the only one you're straight up like we're not
Like,
releasing.
Yeah.
this.
we do not like we are not proud of this, and we don't want people to associate with us with these people because
Yeah.
we were not rocking with. I don't know if we didn't catch a vibe or something, but it was not good.
I would hate if I ever recorded a full interview and then I'm just like, all right, I can't put this out.
Oh, I mean, for us, it's not that bad, I guess. But it's a big, because you're in here for hours.
Yeah, because like if I'm recording with somebody, it's like it's going to be like an
Yeah.
hour, maybe even closer to 2 hours. And then if I just have to be like, no, I can't put this out. That would be like
Yeah.
devastating.
And the hardest part is getting everyone together to do it. That's the hard part. Because 9 times out of 10, if it's like a singular person or band interview, just like one person for the whole thing, that's easy. It's just video file, audio file, and I put them together and match them up, and that's really all it is.
But if it's like 5 different people,
It's 5, yeah, if it was like 5 different bands, I have to scrap it because, I got to go and, sync up the audio individually for, everything and then put them together in a final product or whatever. But if it was just one, it was a one-off, kind of episode, So it wasn't that big of a deal that we lost it, because it wasn't that much work or effort put into it, even if I wanted to edit it, which I didn't want to edit it because I didn't want to do it. But usually it's fairly easy. We try not to do too much editing. And I did try to edit this, the one coming out soon, because it's really long compared to what we were used to.
Can you spoil the length? Can you give us an estimate of how long you think it might be by the time it gets out?
Oh, it's done. I think it's like 30 minutes or something.
Oh, whoa, okay.
Which is kind of ridiculous. Not in like a bad way, but just ridiculous in comparison for what we've usually done. Because I think the Caffeine Daydream interview currently holds the record still. But it was like 18 minutes or something, I think I said. But it was long. It was super long. I just tried to do some jump cuts to cut out some, unnecessary difficulty, some like blurs or whatever, right? The people talking over each other, kind of stuff like that. Stuff that wouldn't really fit in the video. Just try to make it a little shorter to make the rendering process easier, and to keep people more engaged. Because obviously the hardcore fans, people that really like this band, are really gonna want to watch this.
Yeah, they're gonna watch. They're gonna analyze every frame.
The people that follow BooneCast and check out every the video we post every once in a while. They might be too interested in it, and sitting down and watching a 30-minute clip. Right. I think that's a.
Yeah, don't worry about that. People just do that sometimes. It scares me every time, too. Yeah, you're good.
I, forgot we were in a room with a door for a second.
I'm in a chamber right now.
Oh, my God. I remember the first time I recorded an episode, I was terrified people could hear me out there. They can't, but I was so scared that
I can,
was.
hear my heartbeat in this room.
Oh, yeah. That's why I record here.
Yeah.
So you can hear your own
heartbeat.
heartbeat.
That would make things a lot easier.
You can hear your own thoughts. Well, because that's like the only reason why I record here. Because this is the only soundproof room that I can find that I can readily use pretty often. Because I've thought about, one of the ideas I was kind of workshopping with American Dingo was that I was thinking about going into the student union, with a little portable mic and just recording on the go, setting up a table and just be like, hey, do you want to be on BooneCast? And just talk to somebody for 5 minutes. Yeah. I'm so scared to do that.
We've recorded in the Looking Glass Gallery before. Abe, Retrogrammetry, one of our first interviews. He's an awesome guy.
I know. I was looking at his Instagram.
Yeah, he did graduate though. A tear comes to my eye. You should come back up here, Abe. You should come see a show or something. We should hang out.
See, that's why I'm trying to record. That's why I'm trying to get an interview with these people as fast
because a lot of people graduate 4 years.
Because it's as soon as they're gone,
they're gone.
They're not coming on.
I mean, yeah, but so we did I think the last video we posted was him and his little his exhibit, and I think we kind of like to do that more. I haven't really thought about that recently. Just bringing an artist to their Looking Glass gallery or wherever their art may be and talking to them about it. So the sculpture on campus, I believe, our student made. So something like that would be really cool, actually. Write that one down. That's right.
Yeah, put that on the notes.
We need ideas. We need ideas.
But that'd be really cool to do. That'd be because I feel like that suits your guys' kind of the videos you make very well.
Art, visual stuff.
I can't do visual stuff. Part of the reason is that I don't want to edit video, and the other half is I don't want people to see me. Yeah. So it's
it's a big thing stepping in front of a camera. Seriously.
I know. I could not record this podcast if there was a camera on.
Digital footprint, man. We are permanently on the internet, right? Because we posted BooneCast videos. That's just how that works.
Yeah.
It's just now you're going to be there until the internet shuts down.
Yeah.
Until the hard drives are shattered.
Yeah. And when the Earth runs out of helium in 15 to 20 years.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Not to get political. Well, actually, I'm just not going to talk about it. I don't care. I just don't. I wouldn't I was just thinking about it because you guys were talking about how you've had to scrap episodes. I've never had to straight up cut out anything anybody said. Right.
That's good.
I've
really
never
good.
Nobody's ever said something where I'm I have to cut that out. If somebody asked,
they cannot say that.
If somebody asked me hey, can you cut out what I said? I'd be yeah, I can totally do that.
I probably shouldn't say that. Yeah.
But have you guys ever had anything where in an episode somebody's you cannot say that, you've had to cut it out before? Not straight up scrap the whole episode, just somebody said the N-word.
So
I don't think we've had to deal with anything
no,
anything
because usually it's in a public place most of the time.
So
people are they act like respectable human beings.
They act like a normal human person.
Yeah, instead of they don't get crazy comfortable. They still act. No one's ever heavily intoxicated or anything. But I don't think we've
a little bit off the silly juice.
Maybe a little bit. But I don't think we've had anything major. Nothing comes to mind. Obviously, if something did happen, I would probably know it. I would definitely one of us would have had to cut it out. But I don't think so. I can't recall anything.
I'm worried that if I ever have to cut anything out, that I would just forget to do it. Because
Right,
there was something last episode that I did where I said, I'm like, hey, I would just put this picture on the screen. And so, like, one of my friends was listening to the podcast. They're like, where's the picture? I'm like,
Yeah.
You gotta imagine it, you know. You gotta use your imagination.
I like to say the picture is available somewhere.
well, and then, but what's funny is I put, because there were supposed to be 2 pictures on screen, and I completely forgot. One of them I did put on the Instagram post.
Okay,
One of
that's
them
good,
I
that's
did.
good.
But the second one, so for context, it was American Dingo had a My Little Pony OC that they showed me. And I was supposed to put a picture of it in the episode, and I completely forgot.
Man, that's a big miss out, too.
Because they were talking about how it like directly led to them making American Dingo. I'm like, I have to know more. I have. You're telling me about your My Little Pony
The
OC.
origin story.
I have to know.
Yeah.
You guys have any? Actually, that's another good question. Do you guys have anything that like you think directly led to you making BooneCast? Because I know you guys said it was like a kind of like a spontaneous thing.
It was super spontaneous. I'm never that spontaneous ever, except for.
But
BooneCast.
this was just something like this sounds like it'd be really fun to make.
Yeah. I don't know. What can you say about that?
I mean, did you guys have any past interviewing people, or is this something that's like
never,
very
ever.
new to you?
So new. I haven't done anything. I don't know about you.
No, besides like, you know, like little school projects. Or
Something
you know,
like that. Nothing.
You know, like I did the little news channel thing in elementary school, but other than that, you know.
Like, right, yeah,
like,
something super small and
No,
like insignificant.
Somebody
like
put that on the BooneCast Wikipedia page.
Really? So was it what?
We have a
No.
Wikipedia page?
No, I'm just saying somebody
Oh.
put that on there. If someone ever makes one,
Okay.
put that
Someone
on
put
there.
that on there. That's a good idea. Someone make one. Someone make a wiki for us.
Yeah.
I was gonna be shook for a second.
Yeah. You can reveal
I
to
was
me
like, we
now.
don't know that?
Right, I think the biggest
Here's your gift. Someone made you a Wikipedia page.
the biggest we've ever made it is on the Caffeine Daydreams website. Our interviews featured there. I don't think we've ever said anything to them about that, but I
But they
dug through.
just did it.
I dug through and I saw it, and thank you guys if anyone watches this.
Yeah.
Because that was really cool. It was like, no way, you know. And when people do recognize us in public, I'm like, oh, like no way. Are you for you know miss? You know me? You know her?
That must be so surreal.
Seriously,
I could not imagine somebody like, are you that guy from BoonePod? Is that
I
you?
recognize your voice.
Now, that would be scary if someone recognized, not my face, my voice.
Knock on your door. Oh my gosh, are you BoonePod?
Are you BoonePod?
Yeah.
It's really funny people referring to me as BoonePod
Yeah.
and not my actual name.
But every once in a while, we'll meet somebody or we'll see somebody.
Just walking around on King Street or on
Right, something like
campus.
that. I mean, not recently. 'Cause
We had a couple of people on the bus,
Hmm.
you know,
Really?
or like at Walmart or something.
stuff like that, like random places.
Hmm.
Yeah.
At
Like,
shows
at a
sometimes
show,
too. Even
yeah.
Wait, they'll look at us for a second and go, "Hold on a second. Are you guys? Wait, you're BooneCast." And we go, "No way! Oh my gosh!"
I could totally see. The only way I'd ever get recognized is if I'm in like the bathroom or something, and they're like, they knock on the stall.
Yeah.
Are you that guy from
You
BoonePod?
say, "Hey, how long are you gonna be?" You go, oh my gosh, you sound like that guy.
No,
on
take as much
BoonePod."
time as you need. Take as
Yeah.
much time as you need.
That's something the guy from BoonePod said.
But yeah,
Yeah, but that doesn't happen very often. I mean, we're not extremely prevalent.
I mean, but your guys' stuff has really good.
We got a little
Like
niche
it's
for
got
sure.
pretty good attention,
Yeah, I mean a little bit for sure. I mean, when you think about 200 people in one room, that's a lot of people,
dude. I look at the statistics for my YouTube videos, and I'm like, 30 people.
right?
I'm like, 30 people have listened to this.
It looks
'Cause
so insignificant, but it feels so
But then you
massive.
imagine like 30 people in a room, and you're like,
Yeah,
the
right.
fuck.
That's a lot of people. 30 people in this room. That's way too many people.
Yeah.
Any amount of people is too many people in this room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's why I'm so because you were talking about how, I mean, you guys always do like in-person interviews, except for like
Sorry,
your
I
Zoom
mean,
one.
The bigger the band, the longer the line is, so the farther back the shot has
Oh,
to be.
but,
that's been our only issue.
That's because I want to keep getting all the bands that I want to get on are like 4 people. I'm like, I want to talk to you guys in person, but I don't. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to fit 4 people in here.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I just don't know how I'm going to do it.
That would be rough. It'd be a long-standing.
If you
interview,
ever
maybe.
see a band with 4 people on the podcast, you'll know that I figured it out.
Okay.
I won't tell you how.
We made it.
But
We made it.
I'll tell you I figured it out.
Yeah.
But I actually speaking of recording, I'm recording with a band tomorrow that I think has 4 people in it.
What band?
And oh my god, I feel so bad. I can't remember the name. Here,
Are they
I know.
are they on the Instagram? Or did you? I don't know.
Hold on.
So you did that little roundup. Is it any one of those bands?
No, hold on. Jesus, I'm sorry. When I'm recording, I never look on my phone. It's Full Metal Sweater.
Oh, those guys are. We've seen those guys.
Okay.
Live
Yeah,
before.
because
They're pretty cool.
I think they're the quickest turnaround from asking to being on. I asked them 2 days ago, and they were the only, like, some of the only people besides, like, maybe, like, you guys. They were just instantly like, yes,
Yeah. Oh,
please.
we were stoked. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, that someone wants to talk to us. I
Mhm.
was like, wow, like that is incredible.
That was another thing for me. I had someone ask to be on my podcast. I'm not gonna say who, but I had someone ask, and I was like, what?
It's
I'm like,
it's an
it's-
honor. Like
I know.
for that to happen. I mean, because people don't watch BooneCast for us. They watch BooneCast for the band,
For the bands,
artists, right?
yeah.
You know, and that's how we want it to be, right? We don't want to, you know, like a good mythical morning, or whatever, you know.
Yeah, that's the exact same way I feel about this podcast. It's like I don't want people to know me for me. I want people to listen to the people that I'm talking
I'm
to.
here, you know, we're here to get it to you, not to make the video.
Yeah, it's like I'm the transformation. I'm like the vehicle for this.
yeah.
Not, you know, I don't know.
I give
maybe
you guys the
maybe there's
voice.
one person out there that's like, you know, I just listen for the guy. I just listen for the BoonePod guy.
Yeah, I like
That's
what he
it.
says. Yeah. So,
Even though all of my solo episodes are just like me rambling for like 30 minutes.
Because no one's ever wanted to talk to us. I mean, I guess BooneCast, like in a formal setting like this, of course. No one's ever asked to do that or suggested it even.
I mean, I saw your guys' stuff. I'm like, this is really cool. I want to have
Thank
these
you
guys
so
on.
much.
But one of the things I noticed, and one of the reasons why I'm doing this, is because I saw that a lot of people like you guys and American Dingo, and I think maybe one more show, they do interviews, but they're pretty like quick, snappy.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's very quick, snappy, and I'm like, no one else is doing this like long
Yeah, no one's doing
form
nothing
content.
in depth. Just no one I'm aware about. I mean, a lot of podcasts.
I mean,
a lot of podcasts come and fade away.
I understand why people don't do long form because it is a lot harder to do.
It's not as popular initially as short. You know.
Because it is definitely like, I think honestly the hardest thing about a long form podcast is that it is hard to talk for an hour straight.
Oh, yeah.
With no pauses in the middle. It's really hard to
Yeah.
do that. So not that many people do it because it is like, it's just a skill set. Some people are better doing the short form interviews. Some people are doing long form, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But,
I mean, you do run. I do run out of things to talk about sometimes. You know, that's how interviews. You know, they sometimes are a little shorter because sometimes you just run out of things to talk about. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know.
I mean, usually what happens, one thing that I've noticed with the 3 episodes that I've done so far is that usually the farther we go in,
the less we really talk about.
well, no, it's actually the opposite.
Really?
The farther
Really?
we go in, the more I talk about. Like I hate to keep bringing up, I hate to keep being like, oh, in the last episode, but in the episode with American Dingo, we just kept finding things to talk about. Especially
Yeah.
in the first episode with Navum, we just kept finding
I
things
guess
to talk about.
Yeah. Personally, I felt more comfortable over the span of this for sure. So it's definitely like an opening up aspect.
Well,
to
yeah,
that.
because especially like a lot of the people that I get on, you know, we may not talk much through the Instagram
Yeah.
DMs. Like
Initially.
it's just like, hey, do you want to do this?
This is like
yes,
big first
and then we
impressions
get on.
too. Yeah.
And then, you know, yeah, it's first impressions. So you're meeting this person for the first time that you've never talked to before in your life in person. And so throughout the interview, you get more and more comfortable with that person. But I would say it is definitely harder to set up.
Yo,
It
yeah.
is harder to get a lot of these little bands that are very weaselly to sit down for an hour to talk to me. It's definitely a lot harder to do.
Rounding people up in a bar is like the hardest thing we've ever done.
But I will say a lot of the stuff you guys do, it's like you're capturing lightning in a bottle. You're doing it very quick, get in there, get out, capture lightning.
Yeah. Oh, I
For
think that's
me,
definitely what we aim for.
To me, it's like I have to like wrap around in the chair.
Yeah.
Like I have to rope them up and like, all right, talk to me. But you
Yeah,
know,
we get it. They're gone. Just like that. I mean, interview starts, interview ends, they leave. You know, we never see them again.
but I imagine I don't know, it's just a different skill set between both.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different way to go at things for sure. I mean, it's nice to have, you know, opposite ends of the spectrum, you know, something rather short and then something longer and in depth. I like that a lot.
But I know that my fucking ADHD. It just like wrapped in my brain because I was going to talk about something. But it is harder to. I will say I do think the stuff you guys do is a lot harder to make because you guys are out in the field recording this stuff, talking to these people, and I'm just like talking to someone for an hour.
You gotta be, I mean, a little pragmatic about it for sure. You gotta get yourself out there. You gotta be comfortable talking to these people. So many times, yo, is that the guy we saw in the Instagram post for the band? We don't know his name,
Just
but
maybe that's him.
hey, are you the guy from this band that we're trying to interview for BooneCast, by the way? That happens countless times.
But
But you know, and it's kind of hard to put yourself in those situations sometimes. But we get through it, and you know, it's how it works. It's how it works.
I mean, I will say that is the reason why I do this style of podcast, because I'm like, I couldn't do that. I could not just get out there, go talk to people. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, and I know we definitely present ourselves as really outgoing on the videos, of course. But I mean, in person, I think we're pretty reclusive. I don't know, that's probably too extreme, but I mean, we're not like crazy talkative or anything. Yeah, when you see me walking, I'm just a dude walking, looking at my feet or whatever.
Yeah, it's like if you see me on campus, it's like, yeah, I've got my
right, you know, I go to the dining hall alone.
It's like I'm listening to Wham. Like,
yeah. There's something going on in my ears that is more important than whatever could be said to me.
I will say though, it is kind of interesting to me about how many of the bands in Boone are very like punk. They're very like punk. Most of the bands in Boone are like punk, metal. They're that. When I first came up to Boone, I thought this scene would be like a bunch of like country bands, like that, country or pop.
Oh, there's like no folk bands or not. I mean, there might be one or two, but not very many at all.
I think it's just because Boone is full of so many young people.
Bunch of angsty teenagers.
It really is full of a bunch of angsty 20-somethings.
Yeah.
It is.
Because I know, speaking for myself, I know like when I came here, I'm hours away from my hometown, from my parents, whatever. I can develop myself more into a person. For me, I guess. Around my area and stuff, this new area that I'm a part of. I think a lot of people kind of come here with the idea of reinventing themselves or expressing themselves to a greater capacity than what was achievable where they used to live.
I definitely agree with you on that, because you go to college, and I think like 99% of people, when they go to college, they're away from their parents, they're away from anybody they know, so they can like conduct themselves however they want. College is where you like become a real person.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you gotta think of a mental Venn diagram here, like on one side is myself now, and then the other side is like myself in 5 years, and the middle is your true self, how close you feel to your true self. And I feel like slowly those circles are beginning to merge.
They merge into one
I'm feeling
thing.
more like my true self, more how like I feel like I would be, in a few years, whatever, I guess.
Do you think maybe doing BooneCast has helped you with that?
100%. I don't know about what do you say about that, Lexi?
I mean, yeah, like, I think it does.
It's opened up gateways for us, a lot of good paths. And they help us tap into a overarching personality for ourselves. Nothing wrong with mom or dad or anything, if you're listening.
I know none of my family is listening to this.
But being away from home definitely changes you in many different ways than what you're used to. Because we came from like a super small town, like 2,000 people, 3,000 people on the beach, right? I mean, a bunch of boring old white people.
Yeah.
So coming up here has been a total 180 for us. There's a lot more, peers, a lot more people with similar ideas. And I think that all kinds of melds together for everybody into this big boiling pot of music and stuff and culture up here.
I will say one of the coolest things that I think BoonePod has done for me is that I just have met a lot of cool people.
Oh, I think that is like the key thing.
Like besides just making something that I'm still shocked people like to listen to, it's that I've just met a bunch of cool people so far.
There are people like actively anticipating a BooneCast episode or something, like, post like a new BooneCast tomorrow. People are like excited about it, and that blows me away.
It still blows me away that because before this I guess maybe don't. I don't know. I said that, but on my own personal Instagram, I'm not used to people liking posts that I don't know in real life.
Yeah.
Right. That I'm not. I know this person, but then on the BoonePod account, I'm like, there's this random account. It says like, you check their Instagram account. It's like App State. I'm like.
Could be anybody.
I'm like, how do you know about me?
Yeah.
How do you know I exist?
There are handfuls and handfuls of people, that we've never ever met before or seen.
But it's like, they follow me on Instagram.
They look at our posts, or they like to watch the videos and stuff. It's crazy. Sometimes people said like, yeah, I saw your video on my YouTube recommended, and we go, what? Are you? That's like the place to be. I don't know, stuff like that is nuts to think about.
You guys make great stuff, so
Thank you so
people
much.
love
I say
it.
that so many times.
But I remember me being shocked because I remember when I put out the first episode, one of my one of my best friends in real life, he reached out to me and he's like, wow, your podcast was like, besides you being one of my friends and all, it's like it was genuinely really good. I mean, and I was shocked that I was like, people want to listen to this? Because I wanted to make a podcast for a while now, but it's like I said earlier, I didn't want to be just, here's another white guy who made a podcast. Because I've been listening to podcasts for years. It's like part of my daily routine.
Yeah.
When I'm walking around campus, 99% of the time I'm listening to a new episode of a podcast or something. So I'm like, I want to try my hand at this, and I think it's going well so far.
You slowly start to get into your little niche of how you kind of want to direct and make your content and stuff. Over the first couple episodes, we were like we have no idea what we're doing.
Was the first episode the hardest to make? Because it was for me.
It was a little difficult being in front of the camera and talking for the first time for me because I was holding the microphone in that one. It was a little difficult for me, but we knew those guys a little prior. I think so, at least.
I think that was the episode where I forgot to record, and then we had to redo the interview and try and make the same jokes funny again after we had already heard them.
Something
so
like
it was
that.
like,
I imagine that was kind of hard.
And
to
it was
do,
like really. I was like, oh, the camera messed up. No, I just clicked record twice.
Yeah, for all the technical difficulties and stuff. But now we kind of got it down. Cam and Abe are awesome. Some really great friends of ours. So it was a little easier because we knew them a little bit beforehand.
And then you just start getting into the groove and stuff.
Yeah,
and then that's when you can really start making the stuff you really want to make. 5
artist lineup with some pretty popular names and stuff. You're like, that's it. That's gonna be the one that's gonna get us rolling. Get us out there a little bit. Oh man, who was in that episode? Felspar, Anna Izell,
In-Flights.
The In-Flights.
Educated Guess.
and oh shoot. There's one more. Oh my gosh. We'll say it momentarily.
Here, while you're looking that up, I know one of the things when I was making my first episode, I was really scared when I was like, random people are just going to be listening to my voice.
Yeah.
That freaked me out. But now I'm like, okay, now that I know people actually like listening to me talking to these people, I'm like, okay, now maybe because I'm at least like this episode, I'm much more in the groove than I was.
Yeah.
But I know putting out the first episode, I was terrified.
Yeah.
And then it didn't help that every time I work on the podcast now, I redesign something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you guys saw the Instagram. It went from one format to kind of in the middle of 2 formats, and then now it's on a format that I actually like.
Yeah.
But
it does take a little bit to get into the groove of things, for sure.
It didn't help me that I changed. I think I legitimately changed the logo 3 times.
Yeah.
Because I had one, and I'm like, I don't like this color. And then I made another one, and then I'm like, I don't like this font.
Yeah.
So then the one that I'm on now, unless I change it again, probably won't. Now I'm like, all right, this is the one I'm on.
Yeah. So it was the first iteration of Educated Guess. And then the 2 remaining members that formed Educated Guess went from that, and then also Juniper Avenue. Those guys are awesome as well. Just saw my Legends not too long ago. Great show.
I might have to hit some of these guys up. See if I can get them on.
I mean, everyone that we have everyone in any video we posted are all really good people.
Well, then I would feel.
Yeah.
I don't know if I do that. I would feel bad for I feel like I would be stealing your guys' thunder by getting the same people
not at
on.
all.
Because when I saw you guys, I'm not kidding. When I saw your Instagram, my heart sunk. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Because I saw your Instagram, I'm like, they're gonna think I'm copying them.
No, I mean, because it's all at the end of the day, it's all within the same spirit. It's all for the same reasons. You want to kind of capture this moment in history or find out more about this band or group or however it may be. And there's nothing wrong with having a shorter perspective and a longer, more in-depth discussion, right? For someone that really enjoys this band or really wants to find out more about this band, they're gonna watch. They're gonna sit and listen to an hour.
They're gonna sit,
hour podcast.
But if maybe they're like, I've never heard of these guys before, they'll sit down and watch your stuff.
Yeah, right.
So they can they can watch your stuff. They're like, maybe they're eating breakfast or something. Cool.
Going to shows and stuff sometimes, there'll be bands that have nothing on their Instagram, no music or at all. You have no idea what they're really about. And then they got an interview on BooneCast. Something like that is what we aim for. I think at the end of the day.
I think the main reason why I just like doing this podcast is because I just like talking to people.
Yeah.
That's like 99. Like
That's definitely what it's grown into. I
because-
like talking to people a lot.
Because my podcast, I know I've had a few people reach out to me and like be like, "Is your podcast only about talking to local bands?" And I'm like, "No, it's not. It kind of just happened that way."
Yeah.
Because like all
It's
of the,
convenient because we're all right here.
yeah, well, it is that, but I've also like I know I had one of my friends reach out to me and they were like, "Would you have people on from like? Would you have a band on from Asheville?" I'm like, "Yes." I just don't know how I feel about doing a Zoom episode.
Yeah, I mean, still on the fence about that. I guess we'll see the performance of the video.
Because no, at least for me, it's like, for one, it's like you have to deal with recording Zoom, and then also there's the element of like you're not actually seeing this person in real life.
Yeah.
You're not seeing them on.
It's
You're seeing them on camera.
It's a completely different connection. It's a completely different connection.
It almost feels like a different kind of conversation.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah.
nearly completely
I
different.
mean, if we like interviewed Felspar in person, as opposed, and then we interviewed like over Zoom, like it would be so different.
It would be
between
a
the
different
two.
interview.
It'd be more tame for sure. I think it kind of levels out for most, and like a sit-down podcast setting.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're actually with that person or with that band in real life,
Yeah.
you're definitely like seeing that person as they are in real
You
life.
form a different connection in person than you would over the internet, over a screen. So you
It's
kind
the
of,
same reason why so many people have like a parasocial relationship with YouTubers they watch.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they see this YouTuber they watch and they form a parasocial relationship with them. It's a completely different relationship as how they'd be if they knew them in real life.
right? Yeah, stuff like that. So it's different. You get different, interactions out of people. I would say online. I guess I don't really have a basis for that right now.
You know, like when you're in person talking, it's like there's stuff before the interview and after, but like with online stuff, it's like when the interview is done and that camera's off, that's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's
you
the
only
end.
get like an hour on Zoom to.
Yeah. It's like you see that, like it's almost like the people that are watching the episode are seeing. That's the exact same thing you saw when you're recording it. You do the hour, then you're done, then you're off. But when you're recording in person, you talk to these people in real life. You're like, "Hey, how are you doing? I'm so and so,
Yeah,
Mr.
I
BoonePod."
can't shake your hand over the internet, unfortunately.
I will say the only bad thing about me doing audio only is that people can't see my hand gestures.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
I'm very emotive.
Because I noticed that when I was recording the first episode by myself, I'm like, I didn't know how much I used hand signs when I'm actually talking to people. I did not realize that. So like in the first like 2 episodes, I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys can't see my hand. You guys can't see my hand gestures. I wish there was some way that I could just put like only a video of my hands on.
Yeah, there's a hand cam going on the whole episode. But I think there's definitely you react differently on and off a camera. I think because I definitely feel really relaxed right now, sitting in this room. It's it's very.
I will
calm.
say, I think if you're on Zoom, I feel like at least for me, whenever I'm on Zoom calls, tensions are a little bit higher.
Yeah, because I feel like I have to present myself fairly well. Like,
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm like biting my fingers and shit.
But in a Zoom call, you have to be like,
yeah, I gotta sit up straight and
sit up
look
straight,
presentable. I can't.
make
look at
sure
my-
you shave perfectly or whatever.
Stuff like that, right? I gotta look presentable. I can't wear whatever the heck I want to.
That's the best part about this podcast is nobody can see how not fashionable I am. It's great. I feel bad. I wanted to talk about this on the last episode I was on. Everybody I've had on the podcast is like 9 times more fashionable than me. Because when I go to record, I'm like, I'm just putting on whatever.
I put on my favorite pair of pants, my favorite shirt.
The last 2
My first day
episodes,
of school or
behind the scenes
something.
update, last 2 episodes I was recording in just sweatpants.
Yeah, I mean,
Like I walked up to American Dingo and I was like, oh God, I look like a bum.
it is way too cold to go outside and wear sweatpants. Unfortunately, for an interview, you're trekking to a show or whatever. I wanna put out my most. I wanna look pretty. I don't know about you, but I like to dress myself up when I go somewhere, like a show or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like especially if I'm doing if I were doing an in-person live podcast, well, maybe not live, but like in person on camera.
Yeah.
I think it would be a completely different interview if I did it.
It would be-
because
yeah.
when I'm on camera, I'm like I try to be like. I mean, I stutter my words when I'm talking to a person normally, but I feel like on camera I stutter more. I like.
Yeah, because
It's-
there's definitely more pressure. when
You have
you're
to
on.
present. I mean, it's like we literally just said. You have to present
You
yourself.
have to think about your mannerisms and your actions and stuff, and
Because
what
you're
looking
like,
at.
oh God, how are people going to see my?
Yeah,
Like people are going to think about every instance of how you look.
How often do I have my jaw open catching flies in the middle of a video or something?
But in just audio, you don't have to worry about that.
No,
I guess the
not
only
at
thing you
all.
have to worry about is like if people find my voice annoying.
Yeah.
But I guess that's it. Or if they don't like the way I edit. But very minimalistic edits.
Oh yeah.
But,
Tell
I
me
mean, it's
about
like I
it.
said, I don't heavily compress or edit any of my stuff because I want to have as 99% of the
Yeah.
podcast as possible.
We try to keep it like as raw as possible. I want it to be pretty real.
I think it's like I said, if I was gonna, if I cut something out, it'd be like, I can't put that out.
Yeah,
But, like,
it should not. It cannot be in the video.
It's
I
like that guy
understand
said the N-word. I can't like
Something crazy, right? Yeah.
But it's like recording in person is like that's why I really like the stuff you guys do so much because I'm like I couldn't do that.
It's definitely.
But I'm glad
it's a
there are
different
the
beast.
people that can because I'm like now other people get to see this really cool shit that other people make.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's why I like Boone so much because I'm like there's so many cool people
There's a lot
making
of
tons of
creativity.
cool creative stuff. That's
Yeah.
why Boone's not known for being an engineering college. We're known for our creativity and I guess being half decent at football too.
Oh right, let's go. Oh my goodness, football.
Fuck
football,
yeah,
football.
buddy. Hell yeah. Are you guys into? I don't know.
We're
I
not-
would-
I
are you
would
guys
say
into
we're-
football at all?
We're not into football, but I don't mind catching a game.
We work the games.
We
and
do
we'll-
work
we
them.
get lucky sometimes, and we'll be able to be like at the bar right at the
Mhm.
end, so we can like watch the game and also get paid really good. So you just stand there.
So yeah, we're at most of the games, and we were in the marching band last year. Actually, we've been in marching band, I guess, throughout high school. So
yeah.
this is the first year without it.
That's so sad.
It's more of a fortunate thing, I think.
Yeah.
We are not too keen with the way it is run.
That's like 90% of the reason why I stopped band after middle school.
Yeah.
Because I was in band from 6th grade to 8th grade. I started off on trumpet, went to baritone. I don't know if it was because my teacher thought I was bad at trumpet. Because what happened was I played trumpet until like maybe halfway through 7th grade. And then my teacher came up to me one time after class. She was like, hey, do you want to switch to baritone?
That's how it all starts.
And at the time I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah. Because it's like there was only one baritone, but at the same time I'm like, was I just bad at trumpet? Because my band teacher hated me. Not because I was bad. I was #1 baritone, but like I couldn't read sheet music. And
Yeah,
I still
I mean,
can't.
Middle school is such a difficult time for a band, for sure.
And then when I was going to high school, I'm like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm like, no.
That was a big step. I guess, and like when I think about it, we really haven't like missed a football game in 5 years until right. It's like we've been to like a lot of football games. When I think about it, high school, right? But
I think band is really like a big part of our like friendship and whatnot and other sorts.
oh, for sure. I mean,
that's where I met like 90% of my current friends now.
Yeah,
Was in middle school band.
that's where we
you all
met.
have one thing in common, at least.
I mean, if there's anything I can appreciate band for, that's where I met most of my friends.
I mean, it's definitely a big sense of community with band. There's always a couple oddballs, right? But that's with every high school, college band. We've met some awesome people through the marching band as well that we're friends with, of course. But it's a big thing. I think band has been a huge thing for us. Music in general, for us, outside of BooneCast, outside of marching band, is always a big thing.
Sorry, I was looking at the time. I don't mean to interrupt you, but we are probably going to have to wrap it up soon here.
All right.
So I'm going to give you
Shoot,
however
shoot.
long you want to talk about whoever you want to shout out.
Okay.
So
go first. You go first.
Whoever you want to
You.
shout out, do it.
You go
You've got like 5 minutes.
Okay. Shout out Felspar. They're number ones. We love you guys so much.
Yeah.
Seriously, everyone, all 4 of you have done so much for BooneCast in general and outside of BooneCast. You support us a lot. We are eternally grateful. All of the bands we have interviewed, of course. Thank you so much for having us. Because I don't know, I don't feel like it's they're having BooneCast. I know they are having BooneCast. We're there for the bands. The bands aren't there for us. So we thank you guys for letting us do what we like to do, what we love to do, and getting you guys out there. Shout out Julian again. I'm gonna record with him on Tuesday.
Avid Cam,
the day one, seriously, because if that didn't start that episode, then it wouldn't have happened. You always got to start somewhere, and it was a good start. People liked it. They helped promote it with their respective platforms, and that really helped us. So that will be one of the most important episodes for sure. Who else would you like to mention?
everyone who we've interviewed, it's made all of this possible.
Hmm.
If they weren't here, we wouldn't be able to interview everybody. So,
Yeah.
a secondary thank you from me.
Shout out David Brewer from Boone Area Community Radio. They were the first segment of the split rail episode.
Hmm.
So that at that time, he was running through the school. He was running it.
I think he messaged me. The Boone Community Radio.
Boone Area Community Radio. Yeah.
Yeah. He hit me up recently. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, he was awesome. He introduced us to the guy next door at the record place. It was at Ransom.
Yeah.
And then we haven't really done too much with that. We really should talk to those guys though.
Yeah.
I think to get a segment with some of the people that have some radio shows.
Hmm.
Yeah, but he was super cooperative with the whole night and everything. Who else do you want to shout out?
Longfoot for their stance against SeaWorld.
Yeah. Thank you, Bongfoot, for your
Are
opinions.
we
for
hating SeaWorld now?
Yeah, it's
Fuck SeaWorld.
It's fuck SeaWorld all the way.
Fuck That is BoonePod's official stance. Fuck
Yeah.
SeaWorld.
Bongfoot, that was a great interview.
I think that Longfoot was probably my favorite interview we've done.
Oh man, a favorite interview.
I
That's a heavy topic.
I think I've got to land on.
They were
Longfoot.
awesome though. There's been a lot of good. It's really really hard to pick a favorite for sure. Eric has probably been one of my favorites though. I really like Eric. Eric, I guess hasn't played too much recently that I'm aware of, but one of my all-time favorite acts up here.
Mhm.
I think he puts together a great show with his rotating line of musicians. So it's Eric all the way. And I think one of my big dreams, I guess my biggest musical dream now is to maybe one day join his lineup, just for a show or something. If you're listening, Eric. But yeah, anyone we've interviewed has been awesome, and all the connections we've made, all these great people, Sloth, and all the people we've been introduced because of BooneCast. I mean, we've made friends outside of music, of course, because of BooneCast. And then shout out the band I'm currently in, for helping me, all you guys, Jake and American Dingo, Jackson, and Mateo and Nick, for helping me get my first gig. For a handful of us to have our first gig, and that's been a really big dream of mine ever since ever, I guess. My whole life has been about music. So it was probably one of the best nights of my life. When we played at Howard Station, we played with Felspar, Rakefire, and Stomped Out, and that was incredible. And I'm eternally grateful for Felspar's help and support with everything. Those guys really put it out for a lot of new and upcoming bands. They've publicly advertised how they want to help bands schedule their first shows and stuff. So they're doing a lot for the scene. I love those guys. Anyone else off the top of your head, Lexi?
I don't think so.
Oh,
shout
man.
Out,
All right.
Shout out to BoonePod for having
Oh,
us.
thank you.
Oh my goodness.
you.
Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Seriously, oh my gosh, thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome.
I was starstruck once again.
But all right. So where can people find you? What are your links?
Instagram at BooneCast, YouTube at BooneCast,
TikTok maybe coming soon.
at BooneCast. It's pretty proud of the handle. I think I really like that we got the handle down pat.
I know that was one of the hard things for me. Was somehow
Oh my
somebody
gosh.
already made a BoonePod Instagram. I was
Gold
like, oh,
mine.
fucking
It was a
kill.
gold. I was just like, we thought of the name.
Underscores, no
We're
anything.
like, boom, we had to get the count. Like,
I know that's why the BoonePod Instagram is boonepod.gg.
Yeah, at least it's something,
That's a hint to
right.
find my personal.
Ooh.
My personal is something.gg.
I did find your personal Instagram before.
I'm so sorry you had to look at that.
I heard your name in an episode, so then I just went onto the BoonePod. I was like, "Dude," and I found
See, that's
it.
what I'm saying. I'm not like hiding my personal. You guys just have to find it.
Yeah, we're not too. We're pretty good with little deep dives. I think we do some good Instagram deep dives every once in a while.
If you
But,
watch the episodes, you'll find it.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much for coming on the
Thank you
podcast.
for having us. Seriously.
Yeah.
And you guys want to help me do the outro here?
Oh.
Just say "see you later, Booners" or something.
On three, what do we do?
Yeah, on three. So
Okay.
1, 2, 3. See you later, Booners.